Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm in Elgin at Elgin Cathedral, and it's an easy enough place to access, although there are a few steps here, and it's open till 4 o'clock. It's the back of 2 now, and it gives me plenty of time to talk about what I want to talk about today, and that's, do you need to take bangers all the time? Yeah, so despite the fact that most of my images on YouTube are quite average, I do suffer from this feeling of I've got to get out and get a really good shot every time I go out. And I think we all do. Or maybe not all, but a lot of us do. And it's because we're constantly fed on our social media stream wonderful images, and we feel we need to go out and get those images as well. We get fed a lot of really good images on our YouTube feed, on our Facebook feed, etc. And that gives us a feeling of inadequacy because we're not doing it. We're not getting bangers when we go out. But there's 2 points I'd like to raise about that issue. One I'm only just going to touch on, and the next one we're going to talk through it today. And the first point is, a lot of those images that you see on Facebook, they're not real. And I'm not saying they're AI. I'm saying they've been created, they're artistic license by a photographer. They've taken an image, but it's not been perfect, so they've edited it, and they've edited it big time. They can put in light flares, they can put in the sun coming over from the north, they can do all sorts of things and make an absolutely cracking image, which when you're flicking through on things like Facebook or Instagram, it just jumps out at you and you go, oh wow, I wish I could do that. Forget it, it's all edit. And the second part is what I'm going to talk about just now. And the second part, well, that's the cold hard truth, that you're not going to get a banger. You're not going to get a portfolio shot. You're not going to get an amazing image every time you go out or every time you press the shutter button. It's not going to happen. But don't be disheartened. I'm not saying you won't get these shots, but you've got more chance of getting the shots. A, if you're out more, and B, if you practice your photography more. So photography takes practice. Even if you've been doing this for 40 years, you need to get out and hone your skills. If your bag's been sitting there collecting dust all winter, when you come out and take photographs, it's not going to be the same. You will forget things, and it's good to get out and practice. And if you've got new cameras, you need to learn how the cameras work, and you need to practice with them. And on a day like this, you're not going to get the good shot, so you might as well practice. Yeah, it's true. Days like this just seem pointless. But this is when you get out and practice. This is when you learn what your camera can do and what it can't do, so that when the light does just blow up and it's just fantastic golden hour or whatever, or even just a fleeting ray of sunshine hitting something of interest, you can get the camera in action quickly and take a good image. You're not faffing about trying to work out, oh, what settings do I need? It should be automatic. And after 40, 45 odd years or more of taking photographs, I still screw up because I don't practice. I go out to take photographs when I want to, not to practice. So the other day I was out doing some aurora photography in a gale, middle of the night, pitch black, and I couldn't get focus. I just couldn't. The camera kept saying it's in focus. It's got this little dial that goes from over this side saying like a picture of a plant, so it's like macro to infinity. And I was halfway, so I knew it basically from in front of me to halfway into the shot would be in focus. I tried to get that band all the way over, and it was still out of focus. So I ignored that, and I just went back to my old ways of testing focus by zooming in and checking things. And it wasn't great. And I was using a lens that I didn't use very often. I was using the Viltrox 20mm, and it doesn't come out very often. And that was the problem. I just wasn't used to it. So today, I'm going to use the 20mm and the 28-75. I think the 20mm is going to get the buildings coming in like this, which I can fix later. It's not cheating, honest, but it'll be interesting to see what I can do. And I've got just over an hour now to get that done. So I better crack on and get some practice. And I'm looking at the wee screen instead of you. I do apologise for not looking at you in the eye. It's terrible. It says a lot about me. I'm not practicing enough with the vlogging camera either. Let's get shooting. So before I get the tripod in use, I want to see what I can get, because what I want is towers of the cathedral in place, but I also want to show some of the graves and the really old graves in the foreground. So I really want to do right here. That looks good. So what I've got is the tower, the cathedral, some graves, a high grave, and then trees over there. If I can keep those trees in, it acts as a little bit of balance. Not a lot, but a little bit of balance, because everything's on that side. Despite testing it, I now can't get the trees in. I need to swing round. I'm going to turn the actual tripod because the head won't turn. So that's a tree there. That's the tree. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Come this way a bit. Okay. Switch that off. I want to zoom in on this bit here. See if it's in focus. And it's in focus there. Question is am I in focus at the back? Not really. So I want F11, so let's bring my focus midway. Right, bring the focus into there, slightly out. Okay, so not sure if you can see this. Oh, just went out. That's that. Try and get the reflections off. But that's more or less in focus there. It's focused just over here on the third grave, and it gets everything else in focus. So I've taken the first shot. And to be honest, I think I'll take one shot of this scene, because it's too easy just to go click, 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 and hope for the best. But the idea is to try and train myself to get it right first time. So one shot and that's it. So I actually managed to take 3 shots and I didn't even realise it. But the last shot should be the one I'm wanting, which is to focus on the grave in front of me with the skull and crossbones, and the grave that's just up on a tabletop with the chap's name in there, Charles Gordon something, I can't quite see what it is, and then of course the cathedral behind. The settings, F11, which is really important, It's 1/500th of a second. It could be a lot slower because it's landscape, and it's 2000 ISO. So I've taken the speed down to 1/30th, f11 to give me the depth of field, and now my ISO is 140. So that will give me a better image all round. Take that, check the image, zoom in, focus is good. So this is a really good learning point as well, and something to practice with, is cranking the ISO up and seeing what it does to your images. This is 2500 ISO, and I'm going to compare it with the same image at 140 ISO. And you have a look and see, can you see that much of a difference? So I've got quite a few images there now. Let's go and get another picture. So as I was doing that image there, I realised somebody was waiting for me to take the picture before they walked in front. So thank you, Peter. I really appreciate that. He's gone off with my card to see what the site's like. So yeah, if you're watching, Peter, nice to meet you. I hope your retirement up here goes really well, and maybe we'll bump into each other again sometime. Feel free to keep in touch. Right, this is a crowded graveyard, but a very interesting graveyard. So I found some water. Water means reflections. Reflections make good photographs. Let's see if I can get something. So I'm trying to get the reflection just right, which means probably being fractionally higher. Not sure if we've got the room here. That's a bit better. I've also got to get the verticals right. If I don't get the verticals right, it's going to look horrible, and it's really quite difficult to get those just right. The grave that is beside me is already leaning over one way, so that doesn't help. But now I want to get the overall composition better. So what I'm finding is the top of that grave over there is kind of hitting the edge of here, and I want it to be showing better, but if I show that too much, I lose the cathedral. So it's just trying to get it. That's about it. That's it there. So I'm just moving this by adjusting this screw here back and forth to try and get the best balance. So I need the building on the side here not to be cut off too much, so I want it to be in place there. Focusing there. Oops, wrong one. Focusing there. Take the picture. And an angle there. By angling it like this, I can see what I want to see, but it magnifies the distortion of the buildings. So the buildings are now falling away like this. Even the gravestones, that one's already falling over. So it's not great. I'll take the image though. I need to refocus. One manual focus, by the way. I'm just taking off manual focus and putting it to single. Manual. Oh, I can't be an autofocus because it's a manual focus lens. Duh. Right. This is, see what I mean about knowing your lenses and working with your lenses. I completely forgot it's a manual lens, and I can only adjust this way. So it'll tell me when something is in focus, and if I zoom in, I can see it's in focus at that point there, more or less. That's in focus, that's more or less. So right in front of me isn't in focus, but what I can do for that is, that's in focus, the next grave isn't in focus, but I can is the right word I'm looking for? Photo stack. I can stack the images and get the focus stack, that's it. focus stack the images and get those all in focus. I want to move on and do something else, and I've got 40 minutes. So I found a little composition of gravestones and the old cathedral behind. I wonder what you think of it. Do you see what I see? I've got 2 stones, 2 window arches, and 2 towers. I'm not sure if that's just going to be a little passé, if that's the right word. But what I could do, the idea I had initially was focus on the gravestones and put the background out of focus, but obvious as to what it was. And it might need to be slightly over like this. I'm not really sure. I'm going to play about with it and see what I get. Welcome to rural Elgin. So, I've got the composition set up just now with the 2 gravestones and the cathedral behind. So if I could focus on a gravestone just now by zooming in, making sure that's in focus, I could take a picture, F11, check the image, and everything's in focus. Even the cathedral behind is nicely in focus. But what I want to do is put the background out of focus. So to do that, I want to adjust my f-stop, which is opening it up remarkably. So now at f2.8, it's burnt out like mad. Sorry, I keep bashing the mic. It's burnt out like mad because my speed is so low. So I can take my speed up now until that becomes a little bit better. So I'm looking at this. That's almost in focus, and the background's almost in focus. So it probably just got the focus on here a bit wrong. Or is it just simply because it's a wide angle lens, it gets more in focus? And I might need to change to the 75, no, the 28 to 75. So I've taken another image. The background is nowhere near out of focus. Not a chance. Even at 2.8, that's incredible. So how was it getting things out of focus when I was taking aurora pictures? It doesn't make sense. It's not fair. 2.8 should not get everything in focus. Nice lens. Let's swap it for the 28 to 75. So I've now got the 28 to 75 on. It's still at f2.8, 1/25th, what's ISO 125, and it's 1/250th of a second. And looking at the back of the screen, it looks like it's all in focus again. But when I take the picture, I can look and see the grave is in focus. The grave is in focus. The cathedral isn't, but it's so fractional it doesn't make any difference. I think if I wanted to really show the difference, I'd probably have to zoom in to a smaller section of the gravestone and throw the background out. So I'm going to do that just now. Is it going to be a good photograph? No, it doesn't matter because I'm practicing. That sounded a bit terrible. But I'm trying to emphasize. I'm trying to emphasize, but without sounding like I'm angry. I do apologize. So basically, I'm coming in close like this, focusing on the gravestone and not having the background in focus. So I really want to be focusing on there, and this is out, but it's far more in like this, the way I've got it, which is here. Now you can't see that very clearly because of all the color flaring on the glass. What I'm going to try and do now is make a little bit more of the background by tilting up I can come a bit further back, show more of the abbey or the cathedral, focus on the gravestone. Do I need to read the gravestone? So now I have the gravestone nicely in focus and the background blurred nicely. That's f2.8, and I've had to zoom in to be able to do that. So that's worth me knowing in the future. If it's wide, it's pretty much all going to be in focus. By zooming in, you really emphasize that out of focusness of the background. Remember that, Alistair, you might need it later. That's the whole point of being out today. So today I've been able to get some good practice done. Practice on focusing, practice on balance, and practice just using what I have in my bag and using what I have to shoot at the time. Because I knew I wasn't going to get a banger of an image today, but it's worth getting out and getting that practice. And that's something you can do too, is dust off your camera bag, get out, enjoy taking photographs, get some practice before the real stuff comes on and you find you're missing it because you forgot how to do it. It's important though that you have fun doing so. Don't make it a chore. Just make it an excuse to get out, get some exercise, get some fresh air and sharpen up your skills. So to finish off, I just want to say, photography isn't just for the top landscape, street or portrait photographers. Nope, it's for everyone. No matter your skill level, no matter your physical ability. Remember, images are for all, not just for those famous guys on YouTube, you know. See you next time. Bye.